95 to 98. And since then, you have seemed to go in a decidedly more metal direction than you started. Was that decision influenced by your husband, David Vincent's coming into the band?
Well, actually, Vinny Soletto did a lot of our keyboard stuff, and he never toured with us, so we never actually had a live keyboard player.
Okay.
He because he always had a really great 9-to-5 computer programming gig, but he did a lot of work with us. Actually, no, it's just, Come Junkie, some of that stuff we've been working with, I've been collaborating a lot with Jacqueline High, which are techno guys.
Sure.
It was my Gen X project, and they did some of the programming on the new Genitorturers. But in terms of taking a keyboard player with us, there's no room on stage, really.
Yeah.
So many titties.
Yeah.
Titties, keyboards.
Exactly.
I opt for titties.
Trade-off that you just have to make. Now, you mentioned Gen X, which of course is a more electro kind of project. Have you considered taking Genitorturers back in a more industrial direction, or are you happy with the way you're going now?
Well, with us, it's really not anything to do with a genre or a conscious effort to really do anything to be a part of any scene.
Right.
Genitorturers has always been genre defined, and that's really just kind of what we are. What we do is when we write songs, we utilize the tools that will bring that song to life. If you listen to our new album, like COMA Junkie has a little more of a dance feel. Confessions of a Black Heart is completely electro. And then we have stuff like Devil in a Bottle that's just really, fist banging, mania.
Yeah.
But it's really, for us, it's just the fact that we put a theme together for an album, we put a theme together for a show, and it's just whatever the tools suggest, the usage and the songs kind of grow out of that. So you never know what we're going to do next.
Right. So it's just wherever it takes you.
Exactly. Every single album is different.
Okay. So as good as the albums are, your stage show is just that much better because it's just that, a show. Now, the first time I saw
it's
you...
just because you're being fondled in person.
Exactly. The first time I saw you was in Baltimore, and you were doing some suspension stuff, and more than you get to do at a lot of places. Now, how hard is it to find venues that give you the kind of freedom you like to have for shows?
It's interesting. Everything that I do has to do with is working really closely with the promoter and what they want for the show. I've done X-rated shows in Charleston, South Carolina. We just did on our last tour that I was like, what?
Wow.
But it was a full nude club, and they had the licensing, and the promoter wanted to do it, and it was full on show. San Antonio, Texas the other night, it was cool. And it's just really depending. Like tonight was all ages show, and that's how it was put. And there, obviously, the liquor laws and everything.
Right.
I never want to put the club in jeopardy so that they can't do business. It's all about it's not what you can and can't do. It's just working with people. And because Genitorturers, we've got great songs, we've got a great band, and we have a theatrical show, we're able to do all ages shows, 18 and up, X-rated shows, but we do them all. It's not like, I feel bad sometimes when people say that, you mellowed out, or, well, then you didn't see the show last night.
Right, yeah.
Because we pretty much shoved a strap-on up some girl's ass
Yeah.
that was on stage. She was on my stage, and she was like, it's my show, it's my show, it's my show. I go, really? No, it's my show. So, those things happen. It's all about being in the moment. It's how we roll. Like tonight, if we just kind of leave it up to, open a little bit to chance, and we want to have fun with people.
Yeah.
And how far the audience wants to take things sometimes is how far we take things.
Right. Now, I read that you have some songs that were inspired by Clive Barker.
Sorry. Sneezing. I'm allergic to Clive Barker. Didn't you know that?
Of course. Care to share what the songs might be?
Crack Track.
Okay.
One of our early songs. He had a story, I think it was called Midnight Meat Train.
Yeah.
And that's about that. I was inspired by that short story.
Now, with the stage show Genitorturers put on, sometimes you have people watching the stage intently as opposed to actually interacting with the music. Do you ever want to hold back on the stage show to get better crowd interaction?
More fist banging?
Yeah.
Well, sure. I mean, as you listen, like throughout the set, we create a lot of dynamics. There's some songs that are meant to be more showcasing the theatrical elements, and there's some that, like Devil in a Bottle, that are meant to like sing along songs. And once again, it's all about like gauging the audience and how we feel, and how entertained I feel from night to night too. Because like sometimes I'm like, I'm bored, let's do this. So like the ass clapping song, for example.
Yeah.
We're just really like off the cuff kind of people. We just want people to walk away and have a great time.
Now with the permeation of cell phones, with video, the crowd interaction isn't what it used to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you feel there's a sense of loss at that? Do you think that the more closeted S&M kind of crowd loses out?
I think it's really interesting. It's like a double-edged sword, because in one regard, when we started doing this, in terms of kind of bringing the subculture to the surface, i.e. putting things on stage that people had never seen before, it was very freeing for a lot of people, especially people that would before have to go, into dark alleys and places to even see anything. There was no internet, there was nothing. You couldn't just go Google something and find it. You had to go out and you had to seek it out, and you had to really desire and want it. And in a lot of ways, when you really seek something out, you get the rewards of like finding that special thing. It made things special. So sometimes the concept of all the world's a stage and you kind of have access to anything kind of does dilute things in terms of the specialness. The other thing is that before, when people would come to the shows, they would feel the sense of freedom and want to get up and perform and do that. Like, fuck yeah. And because once again, not everyone had their little cell phone up. So, we do locked door shows, we do X-rated shows, and there's no cameras allowed for that reason, because we want people to be able to come and go quote balls to the wall and be able to and be in the moment. That's so important, I think, in terms of what we do and that level of artistic expression, how we interact with our fans. So we try to maintain that in certain situations. We're still a band, we do play all ages shows, we play festivals, all that stuff. So, we kind of balance things. But it is a double-edged sword in terms of that kind of freedom that we have. It's very invasive, pervasive.
You said you wanted to make an album that takes people on a journey, one that not all songs are similar.
Right.
Now, you certainly accomplished that with Blackheart Revolution. Like, just listening to the vocals, there's such an incredible dynamic between, the growling of Revolution and you actually have some quite beautiful singing on Come Jump.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's once again, to tell a really good story, you need dynamics. You can't just be on 11 and really tell the same. It's like the ebb and the flow of something. You have to take something down to bring something back up to really state, the differential that to like experience that power. I think that it's important to really be able to kind of explore those dynamics. So that's really what I enjoy doing with our albums. Is like giving people, telling a story and taking people on a journey and giving them that different experience.
So you listed Revolution and Confessions of a Blackheart as your favorite tracks off the new album. Is it coincidence that they are pretty much the two hardest tracks off the album? The heaviest?
Well, I just think that they were the most challenging for me vocally. I think that Revolution is just something that was just searing, and I just put 100% of that. And Confessions was something that I sat down, it was a song I had for a long time, and it was like a puzzle. And I had to figure out how to make it a song with all the different elements of utilizing my voice, trying to tell a story, and bringing out these different characters, all within myself, because I did all the vocals on the song. It's a lot of bizarre vocals on that song. So I think just the challenge of it, and I feel really proud of like conquering those two songs.
Your shows always seem to feature a lot of imagery from Christianity, and a lot of that focuses on the fact that it's a very restrictive religion. Since that's the case, why do you feel that Christians don't widely accept bondage?
How do you know they don't?
That's true, I don't.
Because the concept of self-flagellation and all
I do.
that, I believe it's pervasive amongst the Christian faith, especially when you really, really dig into below the surface. So, the naughtier you keep things for the Christians, there's a reason they want to keep things naughty. Is it makes it sexier? I'm not joking. I really think that there's a part of that that's like,
Okay.
And more deliberate than you know.
All right. Thank you for the interview.
Cool. You're welcome. Thanks for being patient with us.
No problem.